Welcome to another segment of A Forest Without Trees, sponsored by the Central Sierra Historical Society. Today we're going to talk with Nathan Magsig, Fresno County Supervisor. He is going to discuss the local control and how it is important versus federal control. He's also going to talk about the economic situation of this huge die-off from insects. And finally, he's going to talk about our local fire departments, and especially the volunteer fire departments that are really affected by the situation.
You know, I often think about the past, and I take a look at a community I had the opportunity of serving for 16 years, the community of Clovis. Clovis was birthed out of the trees that existed up in the Sierra. Over 100 years ago, there was a flume that ran from Shaver Lake all the way down to the community of Clovis, and we had a large lumber yard there, and these logs would be collected. The logs were cut, and of course many houses, buildings, businesses were built out of a lot of that lumber that came out of our forests. Today is in stark contrast to the history of our community there in Clovis, and also Auberry. I take a look at where we are today, and the federal government continues to expand their reach and take control of more and more forest areas. And right now, when you look at the Sierra and you look at eastern Fresno County, you have over 100 million trees in the Sierra that have died over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. And there is a number of reasons for that, but at the heart of all of this is forest mismanagement. And it's quite ironic because when you take a look at 100 years ago, you had local control. You had local cities, local businesses, local people managing the forests. And they recognized when they would come through in log areas, they would plant back in areas where they had logged. And of course, managing the forest was at the heart of everything that they did. It was their lifeblood. But as the federal government grew and began to take control of that forest, they basically abandoned their responsibility to take care and manage the forest properly. So today in some areas you've got 400 trees per acre, where maybe 80 to 100 trees would be much more normal and safe. And now with all the trees that have died, we are in a time where forest fires are running rampant. And in eastern Fresno County, it probably is the epicenter here in California of all the regions that exist, the epicenter where we have most trees that have died, and we are at extreme risk. There are communities like Huntington, Shaver, that lie in the pathway of many dead trees, and if there is a spark, if there is a lightning strike, we could have forest fires that can't be stopped. We have communities that have been built that will be wiped out. And so now it is critical for the federal government, the state government, for our local government entities to be focusing in on this problem. We need to step up. We need to take out these trees, which are a huge fire risk in Fresno County, that are a huge fire risk throughout the Sierra. This is a top priority, and if we ignore it, Mother Nature will act, and we'll have huge fires, we'll have extreme pollution, and that is a worst-case scenario. There are a few examples of where forest management has been done properly. If you take a look at eastern Fresno County, we have several utility companies that operate not only hydro facilities, but major transmission lines that run from the mountains down to the valley floor. And if you look at how they've managed the forest, they've done a great job making sure that trees are thinned in appropriate areas, reducing fire risk greatly. We really need to take cues from a lot of our utility companies and make sure that we manage the forest properly. When I think about economics, I take a look at some of the resources that we have in Fresno County. In the eastern Sierra, we've got granite quarries, but we have more trees than we really know what to do with. And as a local resource, if you take a look at lumber and how critical it is, we use lumber in the building of homes, in businesses, in building just about everything. And we've got more trees than we know what to do with in the eastern part of Fresno County. So really, this is a great opportunity at the local level, for us to get up and manage our forests properly, remove the trees, and really maintain the lands effectively, because if we don't do it, Mother Nature will. And if there is a catastrophic fire that takes place, what that will do is create a lot of pollution. It will waste this lumber resource that exists right now in our mountains. And really that would be irresponsible for us to not pay attention and do what we need to do, and that's manage our forests and maintain our land properly. Looking at tourism, right now there are people who travel from all over the world. There are events that take place in eastern Fresno County, in Shaver Lake, in Huntington Lake, up at Edison, whether people come to fish, or there are people who come from Europe to do the Climb to Kaiser, which is one of the longest bicycle events, single-day events. It's 156 miles with close to 14,000 feet of climbing, with the pinnacle of the event climbing up Kaiser Pass. But if there's a major fire, it will wipe out some of the most beautiful scenery that we have in our community. So it is critical for us to be maintaining the forests for economic reasons, for visual reasons, and ultimately looking at tourism. We want to continue to attract people here into our community, so it's important for us to maintain our forests.